The Supreme Court has cleared the way for the Trump administration to resume immigration enforcement raids in California. This decision, reached in a 6-3 ideological split, allows federal agents with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, to continue their controversial operations while a case moves forward in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. The ruling came after a federal judge in July halted ICE raids in Los Angeles County, siding with immigrant rights groups who argued that the agency's actions violated the Fourth Amendment. The Ninth Circuit upheld that block, but the Trump administration quickly appealed to the nation's highest court, which has now lifted the restrictions, at least temporarily. For President Trump's administration, this represents a significant win in its aggressive push for stricter deportation policies across the United States. California, a state that has long resisted federal immigration crackdowns, has seen widespread protests, demonstrations, and even unrest following ICE raids earlier this summer. Tensions escalated further when the National Guard was deployed to Los Angeles despite opposition from Governor Gavin Newsom. Advocacy groups and labor unions say ICE has been targeting people without proper legal grounds. They allege that agents have shown up at workplaces, such as farms and car washes, and have singled out individuals based on their race or language. Critics argue this amounts to unconstitutional racial profiling. The Supreme Court's majority did not provide a detailed explanation for its decision. However, Justice Brett Kavanaugh issued a concurring opinion, noting that while ethnicity alone cannot justify an immigration stop, it can still be considered a relevant factor when combined with other circumstances. In his view, ICE likely met the standard of reasonable suspicion in many of these cases. Supporters of the ruling, including the Department of Homeland Security, praised the move. DHS officials framed it as a victory for public safety, saying law enforcement will now be able to focus on removing individuals they describe as violent offenders and gang members. Attorney General Pam Bondi also welcomed the ruling, emphasizing that ICE should be free to conduct patrols without what she called judicial micromanagement. But dissenting voices have been equally strong. Justice Sonia Sotomayor sharply criticized the decision, calling it deeply troubling and inconsistent with constitutional protections. She warned that it opens the door to widespread racial profiling, suggesting that many people who simply look Latino, speak Spanish, or hold low-wage jobs could unfairly become targets of federal enforcement. The American Civil Liberties Union also condemned the Supreme Court's emergency order, saying it essentially creates a papers, please environment where Latinos and immigrants live in fear of sudden ICE raids. The ACLU has vowed to continue challenging the Trump administration's approach in the Ninth Circuit. This ruling represents not just a legal battle, but a clash of values over immigration, law enforcement, and constitutional rights. With protests continuing and lawsuits still unfolding, the story is far from over. If you found this breakdown insightful, make sure to subscribe to InsightPulse for more updates on U.S. politics, law, and global news. Stay tuned because this case is heading back to the courts, and the outcome could reshape the nation's immigration landscape.